Let me tell you something that nobody in your life has probably ever said to you directly. You don't need $1 million to change your life. You don't need 100,000. You don't even need 50. You need $10,000. That's it. $10,000. And before you roll your eyes and click off, stay with me for 2 minutes. Because what I'm about to show you is not a savings hack. It's not a budgeting trick. It's not cut your coffee garbage advice. The $10,000 rule is about what actually happens mathematically, psychologically, and behaviorally the moment you cross that number. And once you understand it, you will never look at money the same way again. You've probably heard the famous Charlie Munger quote. Charlie Munger was the billionaire vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's right-hand man. He told investors at a Berkshire annual meeting, "It's a B, but you got to do it. I don't care what you have to do. Find a way to get your hands on $100,000. After that, you can ease off the gas a little bit." Great advice. Legendary advice, actually. The problem? For most people watching this right now, $100,000 feels like another planet. It feels so far away that they don't even start. They keep telling themselves, when I make more money, I'll start saving, and they never do. Here's the reality check. The Federal Reserve's own data shows that the median transaction account balance for American households, that's savings, checking, everything combined, is around $5,300, not $100,000, not $50,000, $5,300. That's the median. Half of Americans have less than that. So if I tell you to save $100,000 and you have $800 in your account right now, what does that do for you? Nothing. It demoralizes you. But here's what the research actually shows. The number that triggers real financial change, the number that flips a switch in your brain and your bank account, is $10,000. That's the $10,000 rule, and it works for 3 distinct reasons: math, psychology, and behavior. Let's break all 3 down. Let's start with pure numbers, because this is where most people's brains break. You save $10,000 and you park it in a low-cost index fund. Something tracking the S&P 500, which has delivered roughly 10% average annual returns since 1957. Let's be conservative and use 8%. Now let's say you do absolutely nothing after that. 0. You invest the $10,000 and walk away. In 20 years, that $10,000 becomes $46,600. You didn't touch it. You didn't stress about it. You let compounding do the work. You made $36,600 without lifting a finger. Now here's where it gets interesting. What if you don't stop at $10,000? What if you keep adding just $200 a month on top? In 20 years, you'd have over $230,000. From $200 a month, most people spend more than that on food delivery and subscriptions they forgot they signed up for. But here's the critical insight about $10,000 specifically, and this is what separates it from $1,000 or $5,000. At $10,000 invested, you start to feel your money making money in real time. Think about it this way. If you have $500 invested and the market returns 10%, you made $50 in a year, you can't even feel that. It's invisible. It doesn't motivate you. It doesn't mean anything. But if you have $10,000 invested and the market returns 10%, you just made $1,000 in 1 year without working. That's a rent payment in some cities. That's a plane ticket somewhere. That's real money. Money you can see and feel. That's when the math stops being abstract and starts becoming your reality. And here's the compounding truth that most people completely miss. The first $10,000 is the hardest money you will ever save. Every $10,000 after that gets easier, faster, because your existing money is doing more and more of the heavy lifting. Now let's talk about something even more powerful than math. What $10,000 does to your mind. In 1997, psychologist Albert Bandura published research on something he called self-efficacy, your belief in your own ability to succeed at something. His finding was straightforward. People who believe they can do something are dramatically more likely to actually do it. And small achievable goals are the fastest way to build that belief. This is exactly why $10,000 works as a target. It's hard enough to mean something. It's achievable enough that it doesn't break your spirit. The moment you see 5 figures in your account, $10,000, something happens in your head that no one can explain to you until you experience it yourself. You stop thinking like someone who's trying to survive. You start thinking like someone who's building something. Research backs this up. Studies show that having between $2,000 and $10,000 in savings drastically improves your mental well-being. Not because money buys happiness, but because it eliminates the constant low-grade panic of financial fragility. You stop lying awake at 2 a.m. wondering if you can cover an unexpected car repair. In fact, Vanguard surveyed their customers and found that people with no emergency savings spend nearly twice as much time every week thinking about money problems than those with at least $2,000 saved. Going from zero savings to $2,000 improved financial well-being by 21%, and crossing into 3 to 6 months of emergency savings, another 13% jump. So by the time you hit $10,000, you've likely already crossed the most psychologically damaging threshold. You've gone from barely surviving to actually stable. And stability changes how you make decisions. When you're broke, every financial choice is made from fear. You take the first job offer because you can't afford to negotiate. You don't invest because you need every dollar right now. You make emotionally driven decisions because you're in survival mode. When you're broke, every financial choice is made from fear. You take the first job offer because you can't afford to negotiate. You don't invest because you need every dollar right now. You make emotionally driven decisions because you're in survival mode. When you have $10,000, your options open up. You can say no to a bad deal. You can wait for a better opportunity. You can take a calculated risk because you have a cushion. The $10,000 rule isn't just a financial milestone. It's a psychological trigger that moves you from scarcity thinking to strategic thinking. Here's the third piece. And this one is the most underrated of all. Charles Duhigg, in his best-selling book The Power of Habit, describes what he calls the cue routine reward loop. Every habit you have, good or bad, is built on this structure. A cue triggers a routine, and a reward reinforces it. The path to $10,000 forces you to build one of the most valuable financial habits that exists, the habit of paying yourself first, consistently, before you spend a single dollar on anything else. Most people do it backwards. They earn money, they spend on everything they need and want, they save whatever's left, and what's left is usually nothing. Saving your first $10,000 flips that script permanently. You automate a transfer to your savings or investment account the moment your paycheck hits. You live on what's left, and over time, weeks, months, years, this becomes automatic. It stops being a chore. It becomes who you are. Here's why this matters more than the number itself. The discipline required to save your first $10,000 is the exact same discipline required to save $100,000 and beyond. It's the same muscle. The reps you put in at $10,000 are the reps that build the strength for everything that comes after. Financial experts are consistent on this. Early stage wealth building isn't about high returns or clever investments. It's about high discipline. Behavior matters 10 times more than strategy when you're starting out. A simple plan executed consistently will outperform a complex plan executed sporadically every single time. The people who build real wealth aren't the people who found the best stock picks or the hottest crypto at the right moment. They're the people who showed up every single month, put money away whether the market was up or down, and let time do the work. And $10,000 is where that identity solidifies. All right, so how do you actually hit $10,000 if you're starting from scratch? Here's the honest roadmap. No fluff. First, hit $1,000 before you think about $10,000. Stop looking at the big number. It's too big right now. Focus on $1,000. That's your first target. It removes the most immediate layer of financial fragility and proves to you that you can actually do this. Second, automate everything. Set up an automatic transfer, even $50, even $100, the day your paycheck hits. Before bills, before groceries, before anything. This removes willpower from the equation entirely, and willpower is unreliable. Systems are not. Third, stop leaking money on invisible expenses. You almost certainly have subscriptions you haven't used in 3 months. You almost certainly have a food delivery habit that costs more than you think. You don't need to suffer. But do an audit, find the waste, redirect it. Fourth, put it in the right account. Your savings should not be sitting in a standard bank account earning 0.01% interest. High-yield savings accounts exist. As of 2025, many are offering 4% or more. If you're building toward investing, look at a Roth IRA or a brokerage account once your emergency fund is solid. Fifth, if you have an employer 401k match, use it. This is a 100% instant return on your money. Nothing in the market competes with that. If your employer matches your contributions and you're not using it, you are leaving free money on the table. There's no polite way to say this. It's a mistake. Let me leave you with this. Nobody talks about the first $10,000. Everyone glamorizes the first million, the first $100,000, the passive income fantasy. Meanwhile, the actual turning point, the milestone that changes your brain, your habits, your options, and your entire financial trajectory is sitting right there at $10,000. Most people walk right past it because nobody told them it mattered. Now you know. The $10,000 rule is not about having $10,000. It's about who you become in the process of getting there. It's about proving to yourself that you can delay gratification, build systems, and stick to a plan when every advertisement in your life is screaming at you to spend. Once you cross it, the next $10,000 is faster. Then the next. And at some point, your money starts making more than you do at your actual job. And that, right there, is when the game completely changes. Start today, not Monday, not next month, today. Even $50, even $100. Just start. If this hit different, hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach people who need to hear this. Subscribe if you want more real finance content with zero sugarcoating. And drop in the comments, where are you right now on your journey to $10,000? Starting from zero? Halfway there? Already past it? Let's hear it. I'll see you in the next one.